black boy joy. 3 times for that black boy joy. Let me hear you make some black boy noise. 1 time for the black boy joy. 2 times for that black boy joy. 3 times for that black boy joy. Let me.
Girly pop,
Hi,
sister. Hi.
what's up?
I'm good. What was your favorite thing about Native Son this weekend?
Oh my God. First of all, meeting Emil, that was like so
Yeah.
dope. Like, really, I have to say that whole entire experience was like a highlight for me this year.
Mm-hmm.
But just like meeting him and hugging him and taking a photo with him was really lovely. Also, seeing Nico and Nan there was really cool. And I saw Delon Burnside there as well. So I think just kind of being in a room with so many really pivotal people, pivotal Black gay men was really nice for me. And doing so with my friend's business, like,
Yeah.
Mirror Image Photo Booths has really been doing wonderfully over the last 4 years. And so being in that space with those people was so important to me. And obviously it was really important to Native Son because everyone who was there for the event and contracted through them was Black and queer.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just kind of, being recognized as such, as some sort of Black queer excellence was truly special to me.
I love that. I love what Native Son does. I love the work. And I know we've talked about it and you've talked about it and you've also been featured on Native Son quite often. So for you to
I
actually
love
be
them.
able to be a part, I was like, okay, these guys.
I really do love them. I really, really do.
Has anything else brought you joy this past week?
Yeah, I got a cat on Monday. I got a kitten.
Jesus
He's literally like
Christ.
3 months old. So he's been ripping and running my house. Like, I'm looking at him at the corner of my eye because the way this little one gets into so much mischief. I named him Milo, but he's such a little cutie, but he has a lot of energy. And then he only wants to sleep in my lap. I work virtually and I'm in a lot of meetings. So things get very interesting with him around.
He just sits there and tries to pop his head up in the meetings, girl.
He tries to sit on top of my computer is what he does. And I'm like training people. So I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's why I don't like animals, like those type of animals, ones that are like
Child.
very much all over the place. Like, girl, because like I cannot stand a cat because cats have a mind of their own.
They do.
And I used to live with a cat. And I used to just be like, why are you, Montego, shout out to me. I used to be like, Monty, I used to be like, why are you all over the damn counters? Like, why are you on the top of the refrigerator?
I'm expecting to have some sort of understanding with him. Like, sure, be your own cat, but also this is my house. So we're going to see how that works out. Right now, like, he's a kitten, so I'm respecting the kitten phase. But, messing with my plants is a no-go because they were here first.
Yeah. Okay. Listen,
Right.
okay. Shout out to you and the cat. Shout out to you and the pussy.
Yeah, she's real puss, real puss. Oh, rest in peace, Rolling Ray.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Just
girl.
stop about that.
Yeah. Now I can't even hear purr. Like, I keep seeing it, and I'm like, oh,
Yes.
cat, but I'm also like, oh, Rolling Ray.
I was not, yes, rest in peace to Marvelous Silence. All right. Yeah, that was crazy. Did they ever say what happened?
No, I don't think we know. From what I saw, his mother had posted on social media that he had passed. So everyone was trying to check the validity, but I don't think his mom would lie about it. So, I mean, this is a devastating loss to all of us. I mean, you think about how much he has contributed to culture. And he hadn't even turned, 28 or 29 yet?
I think it was, because it's a couple of days before his birthday. Judge
so
Toller. Judge Toller.
Wow, what an icon.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you.
Yeah. I had a good weekend. Oh, yeah. I had a good weekend too.
Yeah, what'd you do?
Best friend came back. So he like moved back home to take care of like family stuff, but he needed to come back here to like wrap up some things. Ty, my best friend, came down and we surprised him with like a going away field day this weekend. It was an adult field day. It was super fun. It was cute. Bro, hydration and a field day for me does not mix. And a lack of food. I posted on my social media, I threw up. Literally, but I was very cognizant throughout it all. I was like, my stomach is not feeling good, y'all, right now. I think I need to barf. I need to do all that. Like, I'm dehydrated. I was like very much cognizant through it all, but it was very embarrassing. But it was fun to have a field day. I would say stay hydrated, eat, and pace yourself. Because I forgot to eat throughout it. I was until we did a relay race, and baby, I was toe the up.
I don't blame you, honey. I forget to eat all the time. It is like a really bad habit.
And I was like hosting it, so that's why I was the one that was like hosting it. So he stayed also with me, and this was not the plan. And I'm just airing it all out. He was not supposed to stay with me as long as he did. He was supposed to stay somewhere else, but like I'm his girl. He was like, "Can I stay with you?" And I was like, "Of course you can." But in the meantime, I'm like, "Girl, I'm trying to plan stuff, and I can't store stuff here, so like I have to like coordinate with everybody." And there was one moment I was like, "So when are you leaving?" He was like, "You want me to leave?" I was like, "No, I don't need. I don't want you to leave. I just need you to leave because I'm doing something for you." But he
Aw,
really, yeah, but he
you had to
really
tell him a
enjoyed
little
it.
bit of the surprise.
No, I did not. Oh no, I didn't.
Okay.
I was very cognizant. I was like, "Oh no, I just want to make sure, like, you have your friends and all that." So he really enjoyed it, and it was a really good moment to like surprise one of my friends. All of like my friends and his friends, and like people came into town to support. So it was really fun though. That was really, really. I was like, "Yay!"
Good.
But oh, girl, we got to get into the show. We got some stuff to talk about. What is up, everybody? It is your boy Lord Devery.
And I'm Derwin King.
And welcome back to another episode of That Black Boy Joy. We create, maintain, and hold space for Black boys to be themselves. And
So much more.
I was like, I was about to go into conversation, but I was like, I have to get this off.
This
I have to get
intro.
into this.
Get it out.
I'm excited. So I really am excited about this episode because there was a lot of things that we weren't able to fully dive into in our last episode. And I know particular with you are mentioned a recent breakup that you had
Yeah.
went through, and definitely wanted to hold space and give you the opportunity to discuss it on the platform, because I think this is something that we are learning about like ourselves, and I am here now and I'm being present here now and things of that nature. I really wanted to revisit that conversation and give you space to talk about it. Are you comfortable?
Absolutely. And I think I have to say this too. Like when we last talked, I had just kind of initiated the breakup, but things were pretty like quiet at that point. And then after we recorded the episode that weekend, things got really ugly out of nowhere. And, I am not accustomed to dramatic breakups. Like, I like a
Yeah.
clean break and go about my business and kind of like cope in peace and in private. But like, you gotta be careful who you choose to like be in romantic relationship with, right? Like,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about like what happened and how it got kind of ugly, but let me first kind of share what that relationship was like for me. And I'm going to do so as briefly as I can so we can really get into the meat of why I think it's important for us to talk about this.
Yeah.
So, we have known each other, my ex and I, for a couple of years. Like we kind of knew of each other. We met at the pool, and I kind of some like instant flirting, and I was really into him in some ways, but he's not necessarily the type that I would go out for normally. So I didn't really pursue him. And we kind of started to date in May. He slid in my DMs because we have a favorite artist in common.
Who is it? Moonchild? Is it?
It was Esperanza Spalding, but that was a really good guess. That was a really good guess.
Yes, or I know his name.
Mac
Ayers. Mac Ayers, Tanking the Bangas.
I might marry a motherfucker off of liking Mac Ayers. I ain't gonna hold you, because if you get that, but let me actually not choose partners based off of their music interests again. See where that got me. So, we start dating and things are really nice. I find that like I really love the way I feel with him. He really brought out this mannish side of me that I've really been tapping into lately. And I think that really informs a lot of why I was so interested in making it work. But I figured out about maybe 3 or 4 weeks into it that we were having these weird arguments that didn't feel the word I used. And, I am open to pushback about this, but they weren't productive.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like we were arguing about things that were pertinent to us and our relationship, but rather about these small things. And those arguments felt more to me like we were defending our perspectives about the world instead of kind of tackling a problem together, which is what I know and feel is what couples should do. It's not that I don't think we should have arguments, but that like we should be trying to tackle an issue as partners, not kind of defend ourselves against each other. But that's what would happen. And I would notice that we were up until 1:30 a.m., 2 o'clock a.m. having these arguments. And I'm a busy motherfucker. I got shit to do. So I'm like, I'm tired. I can't be up here arguing with you like this. So I made a mental note of it. And I wasn't sure at that first argument if it was going to be an issue, but I was like,
Yeah.
I'm filing this away. And it was really important to him for me to tell him, like, this is a problem. Cause he was like, is this a bad thing? And I was like, I don't know yet, like, this is only the first time. So I don't know if it's a one-off thing or if there's an existential issue here.
Yeah.
And I kind of should have known when that wasn't a good enough answer for him that this kind of would go somewhere else.
Yeah. Did you all, was it not like resolution happening in these conversations? Like it was just constant, like
Never
was
in
it
the
no
moment.
resolution? Okay.
Like this, I think that time, I think it was, I asked him to leave. Like I was so angry, like so frustrated with him that I was just like, I think you should leave my home. Like I think you should go. And I don't put people out, not like seriously. I would jokingly tell people they need to get up out my house. Like, all right, get up, I'm gonna get up. Because I'm ready to go be it, But that was just like, I don't want to look at you anymore. Get out.
Yeah.
And so and we would kind of come to a resolution days later. But the issue with me is if we have that kind of argument and I'm left angry in that way and feeling like, oh, something, you're not mature or we're not communicating well. And this leaves this kind of damage for me.
Yeah.
So he would come back maybe 2 or 3 days later and be like, well, okay, this is how I feel about it now. And so and so. And I would mostly forgive. But then I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to forget that happened. So when it happened the second time, I was like, okay,
this is a thing.
This is a thing.
Yeah.
And then the biggest red flag came about when my photo with Jordan Barnes ended up at the Ogden Museum. And it was really important to me to make time to celebrate that. I actually historically am really bad about celebrating my own like accomplishments and the cool things that happened to me. So I wanted to make space for it. And he was my boyfriend. So I wanted him to be there. And sure, I didn't say like, oh, it means the world to me for you to be here. So I really need you to come.
Yeah.
I never do that. That's not in me. I've often been afraid of the letdown, so I've never done that.
I understand, girlie.
I know. And I'm going to be better. I'm going to try to be better about that after what happened. But it was clear to my best friend that being there to support me was super important. So, he didn't make it. I told him I was going to be there between 5 and 6 because the event started at 5, ended at 10. He said he wouldn't be able to make it till about 6:30. He actually showed up at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So he didn't make it to the museum at all. We originally had plans to go to somewhere together after that. So I was just like, we're going to go to that. Yeah. So I was angry, but I didn't tell him I was angry in the moment, mostly because I was hurt and I don't want to be vulnerable about hurt in the moment. I feel things very deeply. So
you got to process it. You want to process it before you
I do want to process it. I do, because what I want to do is be clear about what belongs to me and what is a direct result of something that you have done to me, so that when we clear things up, I'll be vulnerable with you in that conversation.
Yeah.
But it'll be a lot cleaner for me, and I'll actually be able to communicate what it is that I want to happen differently.
Yeah.
And I know not everyone likes that, but that's how it works for me.
You have to process it. You have to process it.
I'm a processor.
Yeah. Because it's a lot of emotions.
I let it go, or I didn't let it go. I let it kind of simmer.
But you did not let it go, don't lie.
I didn't let it go.
Yeah.
And he stayed here that night, and I didn't want him to. I really should have asked him to leave my goddamn house and go to his. But the thing is, I didn't. And I woke up the next morning, I called my sister, let her know what happened. She said, you have to talk to him. So I went to the gym. I got all of the feeling out at the gym, and I came back home. I made us breakfast, and I said, hey, I am really bothered by what happened yesterday. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I know.
He was very aware. Very aware.
It's like, yeah, I could tell something was like, I could tell you were bothered. Like, I know you were trying to hide it, but I could tell that something was up. So I'm like, okay, so you decided not to say anything. All right, fine. Right. That's no problem. You leave it up to me to be the one to say something is my feelings. But you stayed in my house. You laid on my couch, and then you got up and went to my bed knowing that I had an issue with you. Now, if I had hit you, I'd have been wrong.
Girl,
I'm not a violent person.
Girl, not you taking people out there.
I'm just thinking, like, if I know a motherfucker mad with me, I might make myself scarce. But no problem, right?
Yeah.
So, I just expressed to him, like, it was really disappointing to me because you didn't, make the time. Like, I know you had a lot of things to do that day. I'm aware of that. But I also feel like when I have a lot of things to do and there's something that I'm agreeing to do, I make the time for it. I schedule my day accordingly. He accused me of being insensitive about the things he had to do that day. Suddenly, it had become about how I was making him feel terrible because I shared that I was disappointed. And then suddenly I was meant to feel responsible now for him feeling bad for not doing better.
Yeah.
So, I had intended to break up with him after that, but I didn't. We had a really honest conversation, and I felt like, okay, hopefully we can move forward after this. But then it was time to go to Chicago with Caged Birds, which was my first time going to Chicago. And the night before my flight, which was at, I want to say 1, I had to be at the airport by 11:30. He started an argument. We were up until 3 a.m.
Fuck. Yeah. There you go. Damn.
So now I think there's a pattern of you not giving a fuck about what I have going on, and maybe even a pattern of jealousy because
Yeah.
things weren't necessarily happening for him. And I was very empathetic about this because I think that's also why I gave him an extra chance, is because I was like, he has a lot going on. But for some reason, that a lot going on became my problem when I also had a lot going on, just in a different kind of way. And so I think it was because we had an argument till 3. We kind of put it to bed, literally went to sleep, woke up the next morning, and we rehashed it until about 10 a.m. We resolved that, Devery. We resolved that. And he started another argument just before we got in the car to go to the airport. I get to the airport and I realize all these people are having these really happy send-offs and they're kissing and hugging. And I'm like, I'm over here trying to guard my energy from my boyfriend. Like I'm like, I don't want to believe that he's trying to drain me, but that's what it feels like is happening. And I'm like, and I have to say to him, I'm going to work, right? Like, I'm not going on vacation. I'm going to go perform. And he's like, so what? And I'm like, so why is it so important for you, after we've already made it through an argument, to start another one? This is not something that's super important for us to deal with right now. I'm talking about the fact that I'm going right now to go do work and to go do something really rigorous, considering I've been doing these like virtual rehearsals. We're going into the space. There's a lot that I have to do as an actor and performer
To get into character and get into space. And yeah.
And I'm like, you're not even considering that. And then it's like, and you didn't consider me on Saturday or on the day of the museum exhibit. So you don't consider me.
Yeah.
And that was extremely hurtful, because I had thought about the ways that it is important to me when I choose to be with someone to consider them, to make sure that they feel considered. I go out of my way to consider them because I don't want them feeling like their needs are unimportant to me. So needless to say, I decided on the plane that I was going to break up with him. I landed and was like, you know what? Let's just call it.
So you did it in that space. How was that conversation?
He sent a lot of messages. He said he agreed.
Oh, so you did not do this in person? You didn't do this like over the phone? You did
and normally
FaceTime?
I would. It's important to me too, but all I could think was, and I said this in the text, I feel like you're trying to drain me. I was like, we were up until 3 a.m. doing this, and then we rehashed it in the morning, and when we resolved it, you started another argument. What else am I supposed to think? And he's like, well, I didn't take your energy. And I wasn't suggesting that he stole mine. I was suggesting that he gave me his negative energy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no way that you think it's okay and you're an artist. You yourself are an artist, and you think it's okay to do something like that to me. And then I'm going to this place. This is supposed to be such a new and fun experience. I'm in a city I've never been in, performing for an audience I don't know, and getting to work with this cast.
Yeah.
And now I'm balancing these really difficult feelings, number one, about this breakup, and number two, the fact that I'm trying to revitalize my energy after you've stolen it.
Yeah. Did it affect your performance in your opinion? Because obviously I feel like there was nobody could tell that you're dealing with that, but did it affect your performance?
Let's be very clear. That's
what I was saying.
Clear.
Let's know.
Be very clear. You can try as you may.
Yeah.
But you will never break a bitch like me down, okay? Because one thing about it is I get on that stage to tell stories, to tell someone else's story. So compartmentalizing, I thank Christina Kozart from Randolph-Macon for teaching me this. Compartmentalizing is really important for situations like this. If that emotion wasn't going to be productive to me in the scene, it didn't exist.
Absolutely.
It did not exist. So ultimately, no, it did not affect my characterization or anything, or my performance. What it did do, however, was steal some of the joy from the moments off stage. Like, I was so adamant about, being my character, being Andre, when we were in the space, in the theater, on the stage, that, I had to set aside Devin's experiences. And when I was laying home, like in the bed that night, like I was crying. When it's all gone, right? When I'm not on the stage, I'm not in the space, and I'm not keeping up the appearances, I'm left with my feelings. And I'm like, this man really does not care about me.
Yeah, I can understand that. I think that's why I was curious if you felt anything, and I know you compartmentalize, so afterwards, your feelings of it, and then also your time on the flight, because I knew after you, like you said, you landed and you made the decision. What was that conversation that you had with yourself by in that space, getting to that point of I am going to have to end this as I land?
I said to myself, and I said this early on, like, because there were some yellowish or reddish flags earlier on, and I said to my friend who was like, "Hey, you might want to be aware of this. Like, let's also be clear about this. She's not innocent, okay? Like, there
Yeah,
were
yeah,
things that I
absolutely.
ignored, and what I said was, if this hurts me, I will end it.
Yeah,
What makes me feel bad is that I allowed it to. Like, I made space for it to. Um, And I know that the reason is because I had hoped, even when I suspected that there were some complicated feelings about me, I was hoping that love would supersede those
uh,
difficult and complicated emotions, that I could be so lovable, that I could provide such an experience that a person would be able to really deal with their own complicated emotions about me or feelings about me to be there with me because I've done it. You know, like I've done that. I've had complicated feelings about people that I love and still made space for them and still showed up for them, and call it self-betrayal or what have you, but I call it relationship management. But unfortunately, like, he didn't care enough about me for that to be a reality.
and you loved him. You mentioned love, so there was love
Yeah.
that you had in that space
Yeah,
with
I
him.
mean, like, if nothing else, I really loved the way I felt with him when things were right, you know? Like, I loved who it seemed like I wanted to be. I loved who I wanted to be and who I was being in our relationship. And I still want those parts of me. And I am appreciative of the ways that they inform who I am today
Yeah.
because it's all a part of this larger journey that I'm in right now. But obviously, like, it wasn't really meant to be between the two of us.
Do you think that you did everything that you could do in this relationship? Do you think that there was a way for improvement to have happened? And then also, have you had any conversation with him after?
Great question. So no, I don't think that the only thing that I could have done differently was leave sooner. I will say that much. That is definitely a fact. And you know, I'm flighty, so I really, in any of other circumstance, would have, but I wanted to stick it out so that if someone asked me a question like this, I would be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I did all the things. But I'm gonna tell you what, you truly can't. You have to take people for who they are when they show up, right? Like, someone said this to me. I think it was my best friend Shay. She said, "People show up as their best self early on. So it ain't gonna get better than what you get at those early stages." I was hoping that if I had stayed around long enough, a better side of him would reveal itself. Cause I'm really good at picking out, people's not so shining qualities. I'm aware of my own, right? So like I know people, I psychoanalyze, I do all the things. And I just thought it would get better, but it truly didn't. And so where things took a turn was, okay, you and I have not talked about this, right? So he had actually had a couple pieces of my belongings, and I had some of his. So Wednesday, after I got back from Chicago, which was on Sunday, that Wednesday, I said, "Hey, do you still have my shirt? I keep every shirt from a play that I've done. If there's a T-shirt
Yeah.
made, I keep it." So this particular show I did for the first time in 2018. It has been published. My name is in the script, and unfortunately, the playwright passed in December. So that shirt means the world to me. So I asked him if he had it, along with my Jaguar sweatpants. Shout out to Victoria Monet. And he said yes. I said, "I have a few of your items. Do you want to like do an exchange?" He said he didn't want one of the items. So I said, okay. So we agreed to do it for Saturday. So Saturday comes along. I text him at 2 p.m. And I'm like, "Hey, so what time do you want to do the exchange?"
Yeah.
Now, little context because things get really messy. And I mean that literally for this weekend. Saturday, I woke up and went to Run Club at 8 a.m. I went to the gym directly after that at 10. Then I went to get waist beads. Then I went to a social party for the Run Club.
God
Then I
damn.
went to an album signing. I did all of those things between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Did you hear me say that I ate?
No.
I didn't. I forgot to eat that entire time because I knew that we were going to be seeing each other, and I think I just didn't want to be sad about it. So I was on the go and avoiding. And I said this to Javier. I was like, I really don't want to be sad, so I'm going to go. I'm going to shake my ass. I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to do all these things. And I just kept stuffing the feelings down. Like, I'm not going to be sad today. I'm not.
And did not eat.
And didn't eat a fucking thing.
Even after you ran?
I didn't eat anything. I did the whole gym experience. I danced in sweat so much. Ask anyone who was there. I shook my ass. I'm telling you, thong was out like Manny from Degrassi.
The next generation, yeah.
My thong was out, and my ass was damn near out. I cut a rug, okay? No food. And then after the album signing, I walked about a mile on the phone trying to coordinate with him and talking to my best friend. Still no food. So when I text him, he says, hey, I'm on this street. I'm like, oh, I'm on this street. Oh, we're really close to each other. We were probably 400 feet away from each other. So I'm like, hey, I'll meet you. He's like, hey, I don't have your stuff. It's at this person's. So I said, okay, well, it sounds like you're busy right now. I don't want to interrupt. Should we do it later? And he's like, yeah, let's just do it later. Then I realized, no, Devin, you're prolonging this. So I texted him and said, hey, please bring my things to my home at 7:30.
Yeah.
He says, I will put it on your front doorstep. And I said, okay, I don't care. Just get my shit. I don't care.
Yeah.
This is not a huge deal because I'm showing you that I'm willing to be amicable about this. Like, I was going to meet up with you. We were just going to have a conversation. Like, I was going to make space. I don't have shit to say, but I was going to make space for a conversation with you.
Yeah.
So when he said he was going to drop it off, that was easier to me. Then he says, I can't promise 7:30. So I said, okay. What time works best for you, baby? Come on, sugar. What time works best for you? Because now you're about to press my nerves, but I'm going to be flexible, right? Because I just want my shit and I want this to be over. You're clearly being petty. I say, what time works best for you? He says, I'll text you when I'm on my way and I'll text you when I'm there. Yes, Devery.
I don't need that. I need you to let me know. I don't need to be playing on your time. This is a business call. We're not in a relationship. This is strictly business.
That's exactly right. What you said is exactly how I'm feeling. I'm like, listen, nigga, I'm just trying to collect my belongings. Like, we really don't have to make this a big thing. I'm not trying to fuss with you. If you want to avoid seeing me, that's fine. So I was like, okay, well, listen, like, I feel like I'm being very reasonable and you're not being very cooperative. I text him this around 10:30 because, mind you, yes, I waited several hours beforehand. And I'm like, what do I need to do? What can I do to move things forward?
Yeah.
If you'd like, I can send someone to pick it up. I can send a courier. Like, what can I do? And he says, be patient.
No, I'm sorry. That's crazy. Not him telling you.
Blood boiled. And all I wanted to do is be like, listen, you fucking bitch. Give me my shit, right?
How'd you ate by this time still? How'd you finally ate?
No.
10:30?
No.
So you went girl.
I went that whole day, Devery, no food, because the reality is, the truth is, as he's playing in my text messages, it's actually upsetting me. So I'm trying to watch like Girlfriends to kind of get through it. And I'm like crying because I'm trying to kind of process the things that are happening.
Yeah.
Just about the breakup in general.
Yeah.
I made space to watch Girlfriends to cry. So I'm like angry, but I'm like, Devin, you cannot give this man the power that he is clearly trying to wield over you.
Yeah.
So I am taking deep breaths. I'm listening to Deepak Chopra. I am remembering that this man cannot affect me in this way. So I'm Meanwhile, my friend's like, we need to go over there and get that shit.
Let's get him. Let's get him.
Let's go beat that motherfucker's ass. Let's go jump him. And I'm like, no, this is what he wants. Like, I can tell that he is hoping that I will blow up on him so that he, because he has a history of this, can go and tell everyone how fucking crazy I am. How emotionally unstable I am, right? Like, because I would have given him the reaction that he fucking deserved. I have to say to you, Devery, I have never had someone play in my face like this. It gets worse. So I say that is incredibly disappointing and very hurtful. I decided don't lead with ego. I wanted to exercise vulnerability because I needed to prove to myself that this man is the issue.
Where I can stand in it.
So he responds and said, that's all for tonight. Good night.
You still ain't got your stuff?
No! Bitch, when I tell you, I was shaking. So next morning, I think, oh, maybe I can reason with him. And I'm like, hey, I've done some thinking. maybe we should just talk. Because I'm hoping if I just say that, he'll come up off of that bullshit enough to meet me. I take my shit and go. So he's like, I still need some time. So I'm like, you're literally holding my things hostage. You're playing with me. You're literally just trying to upset me. So now my friends are getting upset about it. And I'm thinking like, wow, Devin, somebody is literally fucking with you right now. Like trying to hurt you. So this is where shit gets literally messy. I go to the gym. I maybe eat a Cliff Bar. That's my first meal in 24 hours, and it's a Cliff Bar. I drink some water. I come home. I'm laying on the couch, and I get like the bubble guts. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And suddenly I have explosive diarrhea from 10 a.m., maybe 11 until the end of the day. I was so sick. Javier said they looked at my eyes and that they were green. So I could tell you what I think happened. I could tell you two things that I think happened. One thing I could say is I had some of the gym water, so maybe it was New Orleans water. Maybe it poisoned me. The other thing I could say
Maybe
is
you have
that
food poisoning.
storing all of those
The hurt in your
emotions,
body, yeah.
and it expelled itself. I did not stop that. Like, I didn't stop feeling sick until 2 days later, actually. So because I was stuck in the bed, Javier went to this person's home that he was house sitting for, rang the doorbell. He pulls up, the ex, sees Javier. This is like my best friend here, the curly hair.
Yeah.
Sees them outside, says, "Hi, Javier, what are you doing here?" And Javier's like, "I've come for the shirt." And come to find out, he is carrying my shit in a pink Urban Outfitters bag, gives it to Javier, and is like, "Take this and please leave." So now, mind you, I'm gonna make this clear to you. He got out of his car with that shit in his bag. We had a conversation about him giving me my shit first on Wednesday, then on Saturday. He said the shit was at the house. So what that means is that if either he lied when he said it was at the house, or he removed it from her house and carried it around all day on Sunday, contemplating if he was going to bring it to me, ultimately decided, because it was 11 p.m. at that time, that he was going to take it back into her house and not give it to me. So he was quite literally holding my shit hostage.
Mm-hmm.
When I got my stuff, I texted him and said, holding my things hostage was the lowest thing that you could have done. And now I will never trust you again. I was like, the only reason I didn't come over there myself was because the ways that you've disrespected me over the last 24 hours warrants an escalation. That's a partial lie. I didn't go because I was bedridden with diarrhea. But also because, bitch, I should have gone upside your motherfucking head. And he is so lucky I'm a nonviolent individual. So I said, your wickedness revealed itself this weekend, and you really should be a better person. Just know that you will never know peace until you fix the part of yourself that refuses to be an adult.
Yeah.
That nigga blocked me on everything, and I have not heard from him since.
Well, that's good riddance. I think that was something that was like, all right, I wasn't going to talk to you anyway. If that's what you need to do to get rid of me, that's perfectly fine. But it was kind of weird, like the whole holding of holding things and like basically like dragging things out. It's kind of weird, and it's just kind of like, what was the point?
What was the point?
What's the reason?
The only thing that I could think of was like, you wanted to wield power over me. You wanted to have some power over me. You wanted to hurt me.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm not capable of hurting somebody. When I want to, I can, right? But I hadn't done anything to warrant that. And so I was just like, yeah, you really just didn't give a fuck about me. Like, you just didn't care about me. Like, you didn't.
And that's okay. Like, I think this situation, wasn't going to be somebody that you really genuinely was going to care for after the breakup.
Yes.
Or after the parting. So I think that this is just like, I didn't lose in this at all. I got clarity and reassurance that you were not, the person that I could see myself even entertaining platonically in the future. So I'm glad you were able to like process all that. But I think even on your like deathbed, like the fact that Javier had to come in and help and assist and he telling him to leave, I think it's kind of weird.
That's a real bitch right there, because that girl was at the Hiatus Coyote concert, left out of there, was like, what's the address? And I didn't even know it. I had to look it up on Google Maps.
Hey, you didn't know his address?
It wasn't his house. Javier had already gone by his house to see if he was there, and he wasn't. So he was at the person's house that he was house sitting for.
Okay.
So, I mean, that was some sick shit. Now, I have to ask you, like, do you think that these kinds of breakups are the norm? Like, is it normal for it to be this kind of dramatic or this petty? Because when I tell people, they seem so unfazed by it. But I don't do this. Not
I
that
think
girl.
Yeah, I think it depends on the person. You don't know how people are going to respond to you ultimately choosing to create a boundary or to no longer engage with them. So I think it honestly depends on the person. And to me, I've never experienced anything like that. I think to that at magnitude because like it's weird, but I know people's stories. I mean, we've heard of people unfortunately passing away from things like that. So
Yeah, that's
I,
right.
I think that it just depends on how other people respond to rejection. And it's sad though, because I think that if you're able to articulate yourself and also be okay with the rejection, like I will be transparent. I today made a decision. I went on a date with a guy, really enjoyed him, really enjoyed the conversation, realized that there's things that we do not align. And I told him the next day, and he was like, no hard feelings. I appreciate you letting me know this. Like, I appreciate it. So it depends on the person, and I say the emotional intelligence in a space. But you never know. That's why people are always afraid to create boundaries or draw lines because you don't know what the other person's emotion is going to be towards it. But I think you did what was for you at that point. I think you had to do the best protocols for safety for your mental, emotional safety, and possibly even physical. So I don't know if it's necessarily like a common thing, but I'm also not surprised by certain reactions because of the pattern of the person.
To be clear,
Yeah.
I was never worried about my safety.
Yeah.
I was worried that this would escalate to me sitting in a jail cell because the way that I felt was so like I was so enraged that like I did actually want to hit him. Like I really wanted to.
And
And like
I'm glad you were like, no, we're gonna put it on the doorstep. Or let's meet because I'm glad y'all didn't meet. That's a thing too. Maybe that's a good thing y'all just did not meet.
I agree. I agree. I have a lot of things going on right now, and the last thing I need is for something like that to get in the way. And now that I even say that out loud, I could suspect that that was the objective, right? To
Mhm.
put me in a situation that would then kind of derail anything that I have going on.
Yeah.
And if I was a nothing ass bitch, then I guess I would do the same thing.
Yeah. So now are you dating right now or engaging with somebody or
So what I really wanted to know was like, what the fuck was I doing
yeah.
pursuing this with him? Like, what was it? Right. And when I think about that whole hoping that feelings for me would be able to overcome complicated emotions, that sounds like a childhood wound. That sounds
Yeah.
like something that comes from
So
childhood.
you're asking yourself like, why did you engage in this with him?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
I
you
can't
chose not to engage with it. That's the thing is like you saw it, and that's my only thing about it is like you can't beat yourself up because you did the right thing by choosing to walk away. Now, if you would have continued to stay in this relationship, then that's different to me. So if I'm just seeing is like go ahead.
if I'm being honest, some of these signs were there. You know,
Yeah.
like he had shown signs of being like the words I used to describe him were selfish, short sighted, and
Hmm.
stupid.
Yeah.
And the last one's mean, and I'm gonna wear that like a badge of honor
Dude,
because fuck that nigga.
right. I'm like,
It's true. Like there were signs, and people were telling me that he was at the very least selfish
okay,
and
okay,
short sighted, right? Like
yeah.
and so, but I just, he do a lot of this, he do a lot of that, he's a and I heard. I was like, they just want me to be miserable. They don't want me to have. Why can't I have a friend? Nobody wants me to have a friend.
I mean, but I think your friends, you always say this is when you tell your friends about somebody, that's the only judgment that's the only perception they have. So if you only come to me constantly talk about that person and then yet you still with that person, to me, I'm always like, girl, from my understanding of what you're telling me and only the negative things is like, this person's not good for you. So why are you engaging in this still? Like, I'm always that person is like, don't only just tell me the negative things, tell me things that also, so it balances it out. But what I'm hearing is, they were already knew this and you were still yeah, I mean, then why were you still there? You said your childhood wound. What was that specific childhood wound there?
I think I am accustomed to whether it be because I was a queer, eminent like kid or what. I'm used to knowing that I am used to feeling that I am not the ideal child for my parents, right? There are all these ways that I don't quite meet the mark.
Measure up, yeah.
Yeah. And I think if anything could have been different, and I do wanna give my parents kudos for the things that they did well. I don't want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
suggest anything about their parenting abilities, but I think an insecurity I had was that, like, maybe they could love me enough that, like, they would be able to get over that, you know?
Mhm.
And I mean, I
Yeah.
know that that's not I'm not alone in that. Anybody wants to hear that their parents are gonna love them no matter who they unconditional love.
Unconditional love. Yeah.
Um,
I
and
mean,
I was hoping that there were things that I could do
to
to
change him?
or at
Oh,
least to
girl,
change the way he
yeah.
interacted with me, right? To change the way
Yeah.
that he showed care for me.
Yeah, I always say that, and that's specifically with black men, who you see is what you get. You are never going
Yes.
to have, as a man, we are very stubborn. We are going to lay it on thick of this is who we are. We're not going to change. So if you see a man and he's showing you his true colors, use those as the guide. Don't try to be like, oh, this is only him when he's like, no, he's not going to change. And we're also not playing build a nigga. We're not out here playing build a bear. Like that is not our job to be putting somebody brick by brick because at the end of the day, like that's exhausting on our end. And it's not healthy because it's also like you're trying to create somebody instead of falling in love with the person that they are. And that's the thing. But I think what you're saying is that trauma, you wanted somebody to love you unconditionally because you didn't feel that growing up. And you wanted this person, but this person was not gonna be able to do that for you.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
I wanna know first if you have ever stayed in a situation longer than you should have, and then I have a
Yes.
follow-up question after.
Absolutely. My first 2 exes, I talked to them for I broke up with both my exes. One of my exes in 2016, the other one in 2017. I did not stop talking to them until the beginning of 2023. And you've met them
Yeah, I
before.
think I know exactly who you're talking about.
You've met them before. And I think the reason I stayed in it, it was a scarcity mindset. It was this mindset that I would never find someone able to love me like they did before. And that was the harsh reality that I was realizing that I was not allowing myself to explore other relationships because I kept having I had 2 relationships continuing to still be in my vicinity or in my presence. So I've had that even, I think, and it helped me with my last relationship where that only lasted like probably 3 or 4 months. We made it, we met in February. We made it official in March. We broke up in May. And that was because I seen the signs and I said I would never be in a space that long of a time with anybody because that is going to block me from meeting other people. So absolutely, girl. And it was hard to finally walk away from those things. But I think for me, and I always tell people this now, it's a muscle that you have to work. And I said it about everything, so y'all gonna hear that a lot on the show. But it was a muscle that I had to work to no longer feel like I had to resort back to the scarcity mindset of
Mm,
nobody else is going to love me like they did. Because they didn't love me like they used to, obviously, like they did before. We weren't dating, we weren't in a relationship, we were long distance still. So for me, I had to learn that it is okay to be isolated, it is okay to be by myself, it is okay to learn about myself. But it was being okay with not even, if they text me, I don't got to respond back. If they answer the phone, if they call me, I don't got to answer. Like, it's okay being a bad guy. Like, it's okay being the one to be like, no, sorry, things are popping on my screen. I'm like, but it's okay for that. And I had to learn that. So, yes, girl, you knew that. Oh, is that the baby?
yeah.
Donna, you're a guest on the show now. I heard you the whole
You heard
time.
him? I'm sure you
I heard
did.
him. It's perfectly fine. We love a cat.
Why don't you find somewhere to be, baby boy? I wanted to ask you too, because
Yeah.
one thing I think was like, and this really speaks to me running around on Saturday and not eating, like kind of suppressing those emotions, trying not to feel them. Do you think that Black men are given space to grieve relationships?
No, I don't think Black men are able to emote. So
I think
for
that's true.
you, so for you to be able to grieve, and I think it's because we are always told that we have to be strong. We always have to have a resolution. We always have to find the answers to things. So we are properly not able to process the emotion and in its entirety. So I feel like that is the most horrible thing because men grieve breakups like with women as well. Like men have to be like, oh, I don't care about her. Like I'm about to go mess with these other girls. Like I'm not sure. But it's just like if you're really into somebody and you really are hurt, you can name the feeling. Like you can have humility, you can be accountable, you can do all those things because I think that that does make you whole and it makes you have emotion. But I think that no, men are not allowed to grieve out loud because we are not even given the opportunity to emote any feeling besides you got to have the answer to it. You got to have the solution to it. And I think that's the shittiest thing is I always tell people like, feel your feelings, feel those feelings, let it hurt, let it grieve, and then find the stuff. There's some things you just can't get over. Like in a day.
I think, like, we were only together for 3 months, so
That be girl, bye. Get away from me.
I think, like, there's this expectation then that it didn't have that much of an impact, but I think what
Yeah.
is important for anyone to remember is that, like, I just don't let people in, and so
Yeah.
to choose to be with someone for that long
Yeah.
and kind of open myself up to that, like, I'm a sensitive person. I say it all the
Yeah.
time, but no one believes me because I'm so good at being stoic. I'm so good at compartmentalizing that it seems that I don't actually feel deeply, but the reality of the matter is you bitches will never see it.
Oh
No,
my
I'm just
god.
kidding.
Girl, whatever. I mean, I always say breakups are teachers. Breakups teach you things. Breakups teach you about yourself, teach you about others. So I think that they're healthy. I think that that happens in any relationship. The tides are going to turn. The relationship is not going to be what it was. So I think breaking up is okay. You need to learn from it about yourself and others. So like, what did you learn in this from that relationship?
Just the things that you said, like that we have
Yeah.
to take people as they are. Like you can't expect someone to change, especially not for the better within a relationship with you, but also that like even if you're discovering new parts of yourself, right? Like that doesn't mean that that person only exists, that version of you only exists with, that particular person. Like I unlocked something inside of me, something that I think is likely to be present here now that I have Milo because I have someone to take care of. And that's really, I think, so much of what was happening there is
Yeah.
it felt like I was caring for him in a way that gave me extra motivation.
Hmm.
And I loved that. I loved how much more focused I was. I loved how I was ready to take on responsibility in the hopes of creating a life with him.
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to sit around and like do as little as possible, but I did expect to be the person who had kind of made the decisions that could support him and
Yeah.
me. And now the good thing is that I have a cat that I have to support.
Okay.
So I can do that, right? And I'm happy about that. But eventually I would like to get back out there and try to do this again because having things go a way that feels good in my like professional and creative life
Yeah.
and feeling more stable than ever feels like something I want to share. It
Yeah.
feels like something I want someone to be witness to because everyone that outside of my friends, my close friends that I've made here in New Orleans, the majority of my support network is 1,000 miles away in the DMV, right?
Yeah.
So I need someone to be witness to what I'm going through,
Hmm.
to what the ways that I'm excelling and the ways that I'm going through pain.
And do you feel like that needs to be somebody that's romantically, like in a romantic relationship with
I
you?
mean, I would like my friend, like Javier is a great witness, right? But
Yeah.
like Javier has their own life too, right? Like I
Yes.
do
Yeah. Yeah.
want it to be a
Yes.
romantic partner. Yes, I
I
would
always
like
say
it to
that.
be a romantic partner.
I say that. And I tell people that is like we have friends. Like I love my friends down caboodles, but like I want to feel that feeling where somebody is wanting and is intentionally choosing to love and grow with me in an intimate space. Like I am wanting to have an opportunity to explore a relationship where this person is willing to love me in all my intricacies behind closed doors and all that. And that is something that like I think a lot of people would love to have and see. So I think that like it's great to have our friends and like hands down, but like seeing that other chapter unlock of seeing somebody choose to love you in your imperfections and want to grow with you and become one in a type of space, I think is like special. And I think I love that. So I wanted to say, because we're going into this conversation of being present and not, I don't want you to dwell in the past and I don't want you to think, but it's like the future now is what is now for you? What are you like? I know you said Milo. Girl, is it just Milo? Is it
No,
just,
no.
just Milo?
I think that's in coordination with several things. Like I've had to be really present for my pain here to really kind
Yeah.
of get an understanding of number one, how to not do this again. There was something about this relationship that I felt early on I needed to
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
So I'm sure in some divine way, my spirit chose this kind of experience, right? Like chose this growth moment. And so when I think about what I am here now means for me at this stage of the breakup, it means like witnessing the needs that like arose during this relationship and during the breakup that like I do want to clearly see that someone cares for me and I want to
Yeah.
care for them back. Like I want
Yeah.
to know that someone is considering me in ways that doesn't mean that they always get it right, but that there's the intention to and that
Yes.
shows in the little things.
Yes.
Hey, I am going to be a little bit late. I'm trying my best to get there. Looks like I'm going to be there around this time. Do you want to kind of stay a little later? You see how, like, if I had gotten that text message from him on the day of the
Clear.
museum thing, it would have been so different.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I know we talked about going to this thing later. We can scrap that since I'm not coming on time. Like, I want to be there because that's the kind of stuff that I would do, right? I'm not
Yeah.
asking you to change who you are for me. I'm asking you to be considerate of what it means to be in a relationship. And I know that I
Yeah.
have the capacity to do that. I know that it is important for me to show the support
Yes.
and the love for the person I want to be with, and I want that
Yeah.
in return.
Yeah.
So I was able to identify those needs. I now see that a lot of what I was doing for my partner was what I was expecting to be done back for me.
Yeah.
So when it wasn't done, it felt like things weren't equal. But now I know what those things are and I can name them. I want you to consider me and I want it to be clear that you consider me. I don't
Mm.
need you to be perfect, but I need you to be communicating with me in a way that shows you've thought about how this is going to make me feel, that
Yeah.
you've thought about how important this thing is to me. Do that shit for me.
I mean, I think that part I think is very intentional. And I think that is very thoughtful. And I think that requires a person to want to commit to that. I think that is where it is when you see those signs where that person is not willing to commit to the intentionality or that wanting to be communicative or wanting to make sure everything is clear and concise. That to me shows that like that person probably isn't ready to do that and not
Yeah.
maybe ready to do that with you.
Yeah.
Because
I think you're right about that.
I believe that my mindset is I always want to make sure people have all the answer, not all the answer, all the information that they need to make the most cognitive decision as much as possible. It is whether if it's a good thing or a bad thing, hey, I can't make it, I can give an alternative time, or I won't be able to make it unfortunately. Like giving you that awareness so that you are not anticipating disappointment and you're already processing this person because you're anticipating, you're wanting this person to be here, you're wanting the feeling of it, and when you don't expect them not to be there and they're not there, it's like fuck, like wow. But when you already know, hey, unfortunately I'm not going to be able to make it, I'll come after, how to regulate your emotions or where to put your emotions,
Yeah.
and categorize it because you have the answers and you have the necessary responses that you need to be able to process it. So I think that also it just goes back to that person and if they're willing to want to do that. So yeah.
Now, I've talked about the lessons I learned from this breakup. So I want to know for you and your experiences, what is one lesson that you've carried from heartbreak and
Yeah.
how does it show up in your relationships today?
I think the first one is always be intentional, always be transparent, always be forthright in your reaction, your interactions, and what you're wanting and gaining from it. Because I think that has been always a struggle for me in my back. Before I was very passive and I wasn't clear in things that I wanted or what I needed. Because I was always telling people like, I'll be what you need me to be. Like, just tell me what you need me to be and I'll just be that for you. However, and you know that about me ever I started to realize what are the things that I need? What are the things that I need to make sure that I am feeling fulfilled and I don't resent my partner and I don't hate them because they're not reading my mind. So I think for me was being very intentional, being very forthcoming in what I'm looking for and not saying like these are my, these are you have to have all these boxes and things like that, but what am I looking for right now? What do I expect from a partner at this time in a relationship or, when I'm dating or getting to know somebody? It's very much that. And I think that has helped me be able to be okay with people having a different response to me being like, hey, I think we should like, be platonic friends, or I think that we shouldn't be dating at all. Like not even an option and giving up the friend option either. Cause I don't even do that most of the time. Like if I don't want to be around you anymore, I would not say, let's be friends. It's, I am not entertaining this or I am choosing to be not a part of this. I wish you well. I take care, but I'm not engaging. So I think it's always being direct because I think that was a struggle that I had because I hated being not liked. And I hated people saying like, oh, can I do this instead? Or can I do that? And it's like, no, I made my decision up. I made my
Yeah.
mind. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you being hurt because it's not what you wanted, but it is about me. And I'm being selfish. Like in certain aspects, I do have to protect myself and protect my emotions because I also am in this as well. So yeah, that's one thing I think I'm doing very good at. I think me going into relationships, I am looking for those things and I'm able to detect those things very early on. So sometimes if you get past a third date with me, it's like, girl, because you know me, 1 to 2 dates, I think I know what I'm getting myself into. And I'm quickly able to, to decipher if this is somebody that I want to engage with after these 2 dates. Yeah. What do
No,
I?
I was just thinking, I was trying to apply that to myself. But one thing I'm not going to listen to nobody else about, because motherfuckers tell me I'm strict, I'm going to be. And I'm going
Yeah.
to continue to be. I'm going back to that. I know I am.
Yeah. But I do believe that in dating, you do need to, if you're serially dating, if you're dating to get to know the person, you do need to give space for that. You don't need to come in like I'm not, and the reason I'm saying like I do it, but I also know like there's deal breakers. So that's the thing. Like if this person is not, if this is the thing that they're doing is not a deal breaker, I'm going to continue dating to get to know them. But if there's things in the first 3 dates, I'm like, this is how you talk to people, like, whoop de whoop. But you being strict is it, I think it's the what do you call strict, or what are you labeling that, because it's different.
I
Yeah.
was under the impression that I was looking, like I told you, I got my magnifying glass. I'm looking for the red
Yeah.
flags or whatever.
You're
Like,
anticipating disappointment.
well, I am noticing behaviors and asking myself what stories they tell. And I've been told that I jump to conclusions, and that might be true.
Yes,
That
yes,
might
yes.
be true.
Yeah.
But it just so happens that oftentimes the conclusions I jump to happen to be the right ones.
Y'all love saying that. Look at me. I proved y'all right. I proved y'all right. He was going to do this. He was doing that. And it's
on everything,
Yeah. I
on my
get that.
mama, I wanted him to prove me wrong. And
Yeah.
I wanted to be wrong about the assumptions I made based on some of the behaviors I saw.
Well, you did the right thing. Like this, in this moment, he proved you right. He did those things. I always tell people, it's like, I don't want to go in anticipating mistakes because of somebody else's antics. I do want to give somebody, but I'm very much, I get, niggas is niggas. So I'll just be like, once a nigga, always a nigga. But I do try to go in, and not even try, I do go in with this mindset of, you're not my ex. You're not this person. But I am not going to ignore these things that are showing up. But it also means you have to be asking the type of questions or being put in those spaces to see it. I always tell people, you have to see people in different lights. You have to see people when they're at home by themselves, or when they're making a decision, or when they're interacting with people, because
going through hard
times, because you have to see how they respond to it in order for you to know how they'll respond to it with you. Don't just, let's go to the movies, or let's just go to dinner. That is cute, but like,
see them in the world.
You need to see them in the world.
You
Spend a weekend together. Yeah, like go to the house.
I think it was really telling that he was going through so much at the time, because I was able to see how he kind of responds to things. That actually happens to me a lot. So that's another thing I need to be looking out for. Like I'm in relationship to men who are going through things and how they show up in the middle of that. All right, cool. I'll keep that in mind. One of the things, look, I'm filing that for later.
She said, lock it in.
Does she like broken birds? Let's find out. Get to y'all on that next week.
Mm-hmm.
No, I want to think about now, as we prepare to close, what I am here now means when it comes to relationships and endings for the both of us.
Yeah.
So I'll start there, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what was most telling to me was what suppressing my emotions looked like, what it did to me physically, not to deal with the pain from the breakup, right? Like even a short time, like 3 months, can have a profound impact on you.
Yeah.
So it meant that I had a suppressed appetite. It also meant that I got really sick with some gastrointestinal stuff, which was probably related to
we don't want
eating.
that. Yeah.
So your body is absolutely going to make you pay for what you don't let your emotions do or show. And the other part about that too is being present in the needs, right?
Yeah.
Like I was so, I think, adamant about like meeting his needs and making sure that I was showing up for him as a partner, that I don't think that I was able to give words to what I needed from him and then express that to him. So I knew I wasn't getting my needs met in the same ways, but for some reason I felt some bit of guilt about feeling that way, and then didn't really know the best way to approach it.
Yeah.
So I think what it means to be present for myself is both being aware of naming and saying out loud, no matter how resistant I am to the idea, what I need from a partner, and expecting it from them. And then being able to hold them accountable once I've communicated it. I don't want to do that, but I'm going to do it because I want to be in a relationship. Full transparency.
I agree. I agree with that. I think with me is knowing when in dating and also grieving relationships, being present in it is how do you feel? I think that is the first thing I always want to ask in real time. What is the feeling that you have today, the next day? What are your feelings today? Like always making sure you are coming inward and recognizing the emotion that is feeling. And then how do I respond to that? How do I work through that? How do I navigate it instead of going back to the past? Like, okay, last week he made me upset. You didn't deal with that in that time. Let's talk about what you're dealing with now with
Yeah.
the information that you're provided. Because I think that also makes us be the most present in our authentic selves and not being anticipating rejection or failure. Like, no, let's think about what he's doing right now and not go into that. Or also the past, what he's done before. Because if
Yeah.
those things you should have rectified in that time. So I
I
think
could
it's
work on that.
challenge that. I think always recognize that, and you don't have to respond in a moment. I always want people to say, I don't need me to respond immediately, but I do need to process it immediately. We want to know what you're feeling when you're moving through heartbreak or transition. We want you to ask yourself, how am I letting myself feel this or am I running from it? So
Yeah.
always think about that in those times. We want y'all to do that in the moment. So we wanted to close with that part. Yeah.
I will say, based on some previous experiences, that the sooner you let yourself feel the thing, the sooner you'll get through it. It feels like,
Yes.
oh, it's so painful that it's just going to linger. But the
Yeah.
reality is, much like, when you get an injury, it really hurts the most at the beginning. And then
Yes.
as time kind of processes, if you really let yourself feel everything the way that it's coming up, it'll heal a lot better and it won't leave an ugly ass scar the same way it would if you keep avoiding dealing with the pain.
You'll learn how to respond. You will learn, and it's a muscle, and I'm going to keep saying that to y'all. You will learn how to respond when it happens again.
Yeah, that's true.
That is definitely that. But Derwin, like, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for sharing this story with us. I know this is something that you're processing in real time, and of course, you're not going to be over it like immediately, but I appreciate you listening, being able to share your story with our listeners, with me, because there's people that are probably going through this right now and are doing it in the same manner. So thank you so much for sharing. And if people would like to continue the conversation with you or just to get some advice from you, girl, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Instagram at Derwin King. That's DerwinKing. And that's the same on Threads. And you can also find me on TikTok at Free Negro. That's FreeNegreAux.
Yes. And if you all would like to follow me on my social platforms, is _Lord Every. So _LORDEVERY on any and everything. And if you all would like to continue the conversation with us on our podcast platform, you can hit us up on Instagram at That Black Boy Joy Pod. You can hit us up on Twitter at That Black Boy Joy. You can write into us at That Black Boy Joy Podcast at gmail.com. And you can follow us on YouTube as well at That Black Boy Joy Podcast. So yeah, I just want to make sure we hit all those marks. But like we always tell our listeners, please be so in love with who you are.